Hello, my name is CATLOAFMAN, and today we will be taking a look at the Origins mod. Now, the Origins mod is a mod, I'll have a link in the description, where essentially when you start your world, you're going to be given the choice to select different forms. I don't really know anyone else to describe it, so let's get straight into it. Now, your first origin you can be is a human. Now, a human is just your normal Minecraft experience. Now, where we start to get into extra stuff is the avian. Now, the avian is the first origin we have on this list. Now, the avian does have a couple of really interesting abilities. For number one is the avian is fast. It appears that I have at least normally it would look like I have speed 1. Now, what it appears is that I actually fall very, very slowly, almost as if I have the slow falling effect. That is until I sneak while falling, then it should look something like this. And I can actually take fall damage. Now, one very important thing about the avian is it appears, now a couple other abilities about it is you cannot sleep below y is equal to 86, I believe. And so in order to sleep, you're actually going to have to sleep all the way up here among the clouds. Now, another thing with the avian is when you wake up, you get an egg. Now, I can't imagine this being too useful. Besides, now you have pretty much an unlimited amount of eggs, but I guess you never know. And of course, the next downside to being a avian is you can only digest meat, no vegetables for you. Now, the next ability on our list is the arachnid. Now, the arachnid is very similar to being like a spider. Now, the arachnid actually seems to be pretty cool. You have 3 less hearts than a normal human, but watch this. You can climb any block as if it was a ladder. Now, this would be extremely useful for, say, building your house when you just need to get up to your house just to place that last block. We've all been there. And you don't have to pillar to get up there. You could just climb like this. Or this would be extremely useful in the nether. The next special ability the arachnid has is when it attacks an enemy, it gives it appears to be the glowing effect. And there's a quick cooldown, but it can put your enemy in a cobweb. So that would be super helpful in PvP. And of course, the next disadvantage is you are a carnivore and cannot eat vegetables. So no golden apples for you. Now, this next one is probably got to be my favorite one on this list. It is the elytrian. You are automatically, I hope I pronounced that right, but you automatically have an elytra with infinite durability. Now, this may seem a bit OP, and it surely is, but you can tell the disadvantages as soon as you go into survival mode. Well, that didn't really work. Now, this is pretty OP. Now, there is a couple downsides to it. You do take increased fall damage and flying damage. And so, experiencing kinetic energy has never been easier. I never thought I would say that in my life. Another huge advantage to the elytrian is if you hit the ability button every 20 seconds, you can actually go super high into the air. So this is actually be really helpful and makes it so you don't have to actually get off the ground with fireworks all the time. Now, the big downside to this ability is that if you are under something that's less than 4 blocks tall, I don't know how long it'll take. Now, here we go. We get weakness and slowness for every couple seconds that we're underneath something. And this could be quite a problem when you're mining. Now, another big disadvantage to being an elytrian is if you try to put iron armor on, well, it works just fine. But if you try to put diamond armor on or anything netherite, it just doesn't work. You see, diamond armor cannot be equipped as an elytrian. One last advantage is you take increased damage, or I should say, you have increased damage when you attack animals in the sky. So, say I'm flying right here, if I hit an animal or a creature or a player while I'm flying, I'll actually deal increased damage. Now, this one is probably one of the most interesting. The Shulk is naturally armored. As you can tell, I'm now wearing no armor, yet I have armor points. This is actually extremely useful. But one of the couple downsides to the Shulk is there is no way to use a shield. I am right clicking and the shield is not doing anything. And the other downside is that you have a larger appetite. But one of the big bonuses to being a Shulk is that a pickaxe is actually not required to break the stone. So you can actually break it with your fist and obtain it, which is extremely useful early game. And I believe it can even break, well, nope, just stone. Now this next one, the feline, I'm not exactly sure about this one. Especially this right here, 9 lives, and then you have 1 less heart than the health of humans. Does that make any sense to you? Now the feline has 1 less heart than humans, as I said, and when you jump without sprinting, you jump normal. Jump while walking, you jump normal, but it appears you have jump boost when you are sprinting. So this actually could be super useful, like getting into your base. If you build a base just around this, that'd be pretty nice. The next thing is that the feline cannot take fall damage. This would be especially useful in places like the Nether. Now, probably some of the biggest disadvantages of being a feline is if you have stone that has 2 stone adjacent to it, you actually can't mine it, and so this makes it extremely hard in gathering resources or even just terraforming in general. This does not apply to ores as it appears. So even though my skin is a cat, I would probably never play with this. Along with this, there is also 2 other abilities. You scare away creepers, so that'd be nice. And it appears that you have slight night vision when you're in the dark and not in the water. Now this one is actually pretty self-explanatory. They're Enduranian, if I pronounce that right. You have quite the reach, and so I can reach that dirt block from all the way over here. You can, with the ability button, teleport, so that's really nice. But the one very, very big disadvantage to this is that you take damage in water. Now, why this is such a big disadvantage is because basically shipwrecks and ocean monuments are pretty much off limits for now. Now this next one, the Enderling, sounds like quite a challenge. You can only breathe in the water, meaning when you come up to the surface, you actually can't breathe. Now there are a couple advantages to this. You have aqua affinity, which means that you can actually mine blocks underwater as if they were not underwater. And a couple other things. You swim incredibly fast and you can see underwater amazing. Also, you don't have to sink in water, you actually have to push shift in order to actually sink. Now the next one on this list is the Blazeborn. Now like the sound of it, now as it sounds, you are actually immune to all fire damage. Now this is extremely useful for quite a lot of things, meaning nether travel would be very, very easy and much, much more. You also deal more damage when on fire than when not. But the downsides to this is, of course, you take damage from water, and the big one here, you spawn in the nether. Which, now with the 1.16 update, this would maybe not be so tough, but still, you never know, you might spawn in the worst nether spawn possible. Also, along with this, the poison effect means nothing to you. So if you were to happen to get poisoned by a pufferfish, it would just immediately delete the poison effect. And the last, but certainly not least on the list, is the Phantom. Now the Phantom, as you know, is probably the worst mob in Minecraft, but you have a couple of abilities that probably will make you think otherwise. Pushing the effect button allows you to be invisible and, as you can see, I'm invisible, and it allows you to walk through solid blocks while having the blindness effect through them. Now this will be extremely useful, especially when going through caves, but remember you do take additional hunger when in invisibility, and the other downside to being the Phantom is that you have a couple less hearts than a normal person, and you burn in the sunlight when you're not invisible. And I just realized, while you are in the invisible state, you can actually crouch and you'll actually go down. Now this would be super useful if you didn't have the blindness effect. Now you can see all the caves, but I'm really glad they added the blindness effect just to counteract that. And now the couple extra things that come in this mod are just related to this item here, the Orb of Origin. This is a creative only item, I believe, and when you push use on it, you will be given the choice to change your origin once you're in the game. So, and see all of the different effects of being of each origin. Also in the game, you can see the effects of being your origin by clicking O. That's by default. You can change that in the controls. And the default button for your effect, so the Elytrian by flying, is G. Okay, so something I forgot to mention is if you push the effect button G while you're a shulker, you get this shulker inventory, and then you keep this actually on death. Now, if I was to choose my favorite origin, my favorite would probably be the Elytrian. But what is your favorite origin? You can leave that in the comments below. There will be, again, a download to this origin mod in the description. So that should wrap it up for today. If you like this, if you'd like to see more videos like this, please hit that like button and the subscribe. It means a whole lot to me. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.